The point is not to have a stack of papers with a whole bunch of tedious information on it. The point is to have something that you can get behind, that you're motivated to take action on, that people around you are motivated to take action on, and that you have a very clear plan so that you know exactly what you're doing and that energy is focused. How do you take that strategic plan from something that just feels boring, feels like maybe it was a waste of time, and turn it into something that actually transforms your business? Let's be honest. Now, if you ever built a strategic plan, built it, put the time into it, and it could be strategic, but anything that you went to plan more than 6 to 8 weeks out in your business. So when have you ever done that? And if you have, drop a yes in the comments and let me know, did you drop it in a drawer or in a file cabinet, or maybe the circular bin, and just forget about it? It wasted away in some Google file folder and you never looked at it again. Because that's the waste. And that's where we also think it's boring. We don't really feel like pulling that thing out again. We put so much time in, it felt so tedious. That's not just a snooze fest. That was a complete and utter waste of your time. And when I'm working with business owners who go through my 5-day masterclass on strategic planning, we talk about all the steps that are needed to make the plan, whether that's strategic or any kind of plan, more than just mental masturbation. Like, the idea of it is not to have some mental exercise, but to actually set your business up for success. Those business owners who show up, they're there for the results. They're not there for the plan. The plan is something that's very powerful. 75% of successful companies have a formal or pre-established system to inform on and manage their strategy. 77% have an established process to translate that strategy into action. This is not just about the thought exercise. This is about how you get things done. So how do you take that strategic plan from something that just feels boring, feels like maybe it was a waste of time, and turn it into something that actually transforms your business? This is in part how other companies are getting results. They've got a plan and they know how to turn that plan into action. And so let's walk through 5 things that are going to get you out of a boring strategic plan and into something that's soaring, something that launches you into momentum, because that's the point. The point is not to have a stack of papers with a whole bunch of tedious information on it. The point is to have something that you can get behind, that you're motivated to take action on, that people around you are motivated to take action on, and that you have a very clear plan so that you know exactly what you're doing and that energy is focused. What are the 5 things you need to eliminate in order to get more out of your strategic plan? So let's jump right into it. All the details written down. You don't need all the details written out. You don't need to know every single detail that's going to happen over the length of your strategic plan. So we have project planning. That'd be the near-term initiative that you might plan out. But your strategic plan, like what you're going to do 18 months out from now, you don't know that answer yet, because as you grow, your resources start changing. There is this temptation to want perfect clarity about where we're going and what we're going to be doing in Q1 this year, in Q2, in Q3, in Q4. And it's false security. That is perfectionism. That is a desire for control, but it's not real. And so when we try and put in all the details and get it all mapped out precisely, I'm going to do this on January 3rd, and I'm going to do this on February 15th. It doesn't pan out. And actually, when we leave ourselves more flexibility, it gives us that opportunity to build resources between now and then to make those milestones even easier to reach, which means you go faster. So initiatives that you thought you might have to delegate to next year's 4th quarter, you might not have to. You might be getting it done by the end of this year if you keep that focus and if you keep that momentum up. And so don't worry about every single detail. We're looking at a balance between the long-term goals and the short-term activities. It's like a tension between living with that future purpose, but also living in the moment and acting in the moment. Because this is the only moment we can act in. We can't act in 18 months from now. We can only act in today. And so we keep an eye out for that future, right? We're teleological. We're very goal-oriented and purpose-driven as human beings, but we can only be present and only take action right here in this moment. So all the details are not necessary. And it might just be coming from wanting perfect clarity or wanting this false sense of security and control over how our life is going to look 18 months from now, or whatever that period is that you're trying to control for. It might be 8 weeks from now. 6 weeks to 8 weeks might be as much as you want detail for, because past that, you might not have the control. You might not have the predictability. You know your business best, but don't fall into needing that false sense of control and security. The next thing you need to eliminate from your strategic plan in order to make it more effective and less boring, more soaring, is the same old, same old. We have this tendency also to be seeking new results with the same old tactics. And that doesn't work. You're just bound to stall out. We can't keep doing the same thing. It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. I believe that's Albert Einstein who said that. And same thing goes here. So get creative and explore other possibilities. Get outside insights. External insights, I should say. Survey your customers. What do they see going on? What would they like to see happen? Look at the news. Look at other ideas to bring into your business. And anything goes at the start. There's really no right or wrong answer. Just because somebody gives you an idea doesn't mean you need to take it. But also just because an idea comes from the outside doesn't mean it's not a good one or that it can't be integrated into your business strategy. So get some outside perspective, get some inspiration from other sources, get yourself out of the office, get yourself on a walk, do something that gets outside ideas and creativity flowing. I get some of my best ideas at 6 a.m. in that first 15 minutes after I wake up. So I'm there with a piece of paper and I'm writing those down and they tend to be the best ideas. You don't have to go with every idea, but don't go with the same old ideas. When you eliminate that habitual way of, oh, we always do marketing this way, so let's just keep doing it that way again, that's where you're going to run into trouble. And it's just going to make it boring. Nobody gets excited about doing the same old. Doesn't mean you don't stick with some tried and true strategies, but tried and true strategies are things that are tested, things that you have data behind, things that you can objectively back up. But because the market is always changing, because you're always changing, because you're growing and expanding and new needs and new problems come up in this ecosystem of a business that you've built, it's really important that you're also bringing in fresh perspective and thinking of outside ideas, not just your same old. The next thing you need to eliminate from your strategic plan in order to turn it from boring to soaring and actually make this something excitable, something you actually want to do something with, is the pages and pages that no one is going to read. And it might have really helped you to take the time and detail things out as you're in the process of planning. But once you have a plan, you should be able to get it on one page. All you need on that one page is just a very quick summary of your mission, vision, and values. Things like, this is our purpose, this is our long-term goal, and these are the values that define our decision-making and our behavior. That's very important to have on there because it helps motivate other people who are maybe not so numbers-oriented. You need your long-term and your near-term goals. You need to know what your key initiatives are going to be. So what are the key things that you're going to do? Not every single tactic that you're going to do, but also not so broad that is, we're going to do sales. We're going to do marketing. So what are your key initiatives? We're going to do this kind of social media, or I'm going to reach out and create partnerships with these businesses in my community. What are the things that you're going to do? So having 2 or 3 of those on the strategic plan, and then your key next steps. And those don't even have to be written down on this one page, but they're important to say, how do I get started with these initiatives? Especially the most important one. So don't have pages and pages of documents because then nobody's going to want to read it. Nobody's going to want to go back to it. There might be reference materials that you keep around as an addendum, but the thing that goes up in everybody's office is that one sheet that says, this is who we are and what we're about to do. This is what we do together, and this is our strategic plan. Your next thing that you need to get rid of, if you want a strategic plan that excites you, that actually gets people motivated, that builds momentum, you need to get rid of the logic. Okay, so maybe you don't need to entirely get rid of the logic, but we shouldn't be dealing with dry and boring here. If you look at your goals and you go, what, not very exciting, then these aren't good goals for you. These aren't good goals for your organization. So get some emotion behind it. And there's 2 kind of emotions that are especially powerful. One is that emotion of vision, that emotion of higher purpose. What is the impact of what these goals are going to do for you? That's one element. Essentially, we're making the motivation higher. And then the other key emotion that we can get behind this when we're not dropping the logic so much, but complementing it with the emotion is that we look at that cost of inaction. What happens if we don't reach our goals? What is that stick in the equation? If you want to get ahead with your strategic plan, you want this thing to serve your business and spur on momentum, not just in your activity and your day-to-day life in business, but your team members as well. Get a little less about the logic and a lot more about the emotion. Put that emotion into your strategic plan. And the next thing that you need to eliminate, if you want a strategic plan that serves your business and is not boring, but is helping you soar into the stratosphere of success, then you need to get rid of the cloak and dagger. So many business owners want to keep it all so close, right? They don't want to share. If I share my revenue with my team members, they're just going to ask for raises. They'll just think that I am made of money. They hear that you're making $1 million a year in revenue, and they just think that money must grow on trees and you've got money left and right to keep paying them. Sometimes people will interpret it that way. But at the same time, I'll just share the trade-off here. When you are so cloak and dagger about what you're trying to achieve and you don't share that context with people and they don't understand why you're asking them to do a little something extra here and work on a project over there, they might start questioning, why are you taking me away from my day job? What are all these extra things that you're doing? Our teams need context. They need to know what's going on. You don't have to tell them absolutely everything. They don't need to see that backlog of all of the work that you put into the strategic plan, but involving them in the planning process, maybe in that brainstorming process. These can be powerful ways of bringing team members on, getting them more motivated, and taking that strategic plan from something boring, something that feels very alien and foreign to them, and maybe even alien and foreign to you, and puts it front and center and makes them a part of things. And that's what can also spur on that momentum and that drive to accomplish the goals that you've set out to do. Our whole goal here is to make sure that when you have a strategic plan, it is not some mental exercise, that is not gathering dust, but helping you gather momentum. There is so much potential with having a plan in place, not just for you and the clarity that you get as a business owner, but also for the clarity that your team members get, your vendors get, your board members get, whoever is involved in your business. It provides so much clarity to say, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. And that's the essence of a strategic plan. If you want more help on this, if you want to tackle the different aspects of your strategic plan and really clear those roadblocks to building momentum in your business, check out the Strategic Planning Launchpad. And you can check out the details at strategicplanninglaunchpad.com. I'll drop that link in the comments. And you're going to have the time to plan. But you're also really going to feel so empowered by the end on what is in store for your business, how you involve your team, how you get things to be more hands-free so you have more time to focus on high-value activities. And these are the things that not only a strategic plan can do, but the Strategic Planning Launchpad. So come join me in that. I would love to see you there. It's strategicplanninglaunchpad.com, and I will see you in the next video.